What if Naruto lost to Gaara? An alternate Naruto timeline, the forest was silent, except for the labored breathing of two exhausted shinobi. Naruto Uzumaki lay crumpled against a shattered tree trunk, his orange jumpsuit torn and bloodied. Above him, Gaara of the sand stood trembling, his transformation into Shukaku incomplete, but devastating enough. The one-tailed beast's chakra pulsed through him like poison through veins. Why? Gaara's voice cracked, half his own, half the demon's. Why do you fight so hard for people who hate you? Naruto tried to stand, tried to summon more of the Nine-Tails chakra, but his body refused. He'd given everything. The Kyuubi's power had run dry, and his own reserves were gone. For the first time in his life, his willpower wasn't enough. Because double quotes. Naruto whispered, blood trickling from his mouth. Because they're precious to me. Gaara-san rushed forward like a tsunami. Naruto's vision went dark. The aftermath. Sakura's scream pierced the forest as she found him. Kakashi arrived seconds later, instantly recognizing the severity. Naruto's life hung by a thread. The Nine-Tails chakra was all that kept him breathing, automatically healing the catastrophic damage. But it was a slow, agonizing process. In the village, everything changed. The third Hokage survived his battle with Orochimaru, but at tremendous cost. Without Naruto's intervention inspiring the village, without his defeat of Gaara breaking the Sand Ninja's formation, Konoha's casualties tripled. The invasion succeeded in its primary goal, demonstrating weakness. Hiruzen Sarutobi, gravely wounded and witnessing the carnage, was forced to step down. The council wasted no time. They recalled Jiraiya and demanded he find Tsunade immediately. Konoha needed the legendary Sannin, and they needed her now. Naruto's struggle. For 3 weeks, Naruto remained unconscious. When he finally woke in the hospital, the world felt different. Heavy Sakura sat by his bedside, eyes red from crying, but she smiled when she saw him stir. "You're awake," she said softly. We all thought. ... Quotes I lost, Naruto said, the words foreign in his mouth. "Sakura, I couldn't protect anyone. I wasn't strong enough." She gripped his hand. "You're alive. That's what matters." But Naruto could see it in her eyes. Same look. Everyone gave him now. Pity the whispers had changed too. No longer was he just the demon brat. Now he was the demon brat who failed when the village needed him most. Sasuke visited once, his expression unreadable. "You gave it everything," he said, standing by the window. But everything wasn't enough. Those words haunted Naruto more than any insult ever had. Gaara's transformation in Tsunaga cure. Gaara sat alone in his apartment, staring at his hands. He'd won the battle, proven his existence through Naruto's blood. But the victory felt hollow. Something in Naruto's eyes, even in defeat, had reached him. That boy had been willing to die for people who despised him. Gaara couldn't understand it, but he couldn't forget it either. When his father, the fourth Kashikish, congratulated him on his strength, Gaara said nothing. When Temari and Kankuro tried to celebrate, A walked Hawaii. Tsunade's return, Jiraiya found Tsunade in a gambling den, drunk and drowning in her own despair. When he told her about the invasion, about Naruto's defeat, about the third Hokage's condition, she laughed bitterly. So the old man finally got what he deserved. Let Konoha burn! But then Jiraiya told her about Naruto, about the boy who carried the Nine-Tails, who'd fought with everything he had, who'd failed and now blamed himself for every death in the invasion. About the boy who reminded everyone of Nawaki and Dan, who had the same foolish dream of becoming a... "He's giving up," Jiraiya said quietly. "The light in his eyes is dying, and if we lose him, we lose more than just another Jinchuriki. We lose hope itself." Tsunade returned to Konoha. The breaking point Naruto's recovery was physical, not mental. He trained obsessively, pushing himself until he collapsed. Kakashi tried to intervene, but Naruto wouldn't listen. He learned the Rasengan from Jiraiya in record time, driven by desperation rather than determination. "You're going to destroy yourself," Jiraiya warned, watching Naruto practice until his hands bled. Good. Naruto replied coldly, maybe then I'll be worth something. The change terrified everyone who knew him. His smile became rare, his laughter extinct. He stopped eating ramen. He stopped pranking. He stopped being Naruto. Tsunade became the 5th Hokage in a ceremony Naruto didn't attend. When she summoned him to her office, she found a boy who looked decades older than his years. I hear you're working yourself to death, she said bluntly. I'm getting stronger. No, you're running away. Tsunade leaned forward. Kid? You lost a battle. It happens to every shinobi. It happened to me, to Jiraiya, to everyone. That's not failure. Giving up is failure. I didn't give up. Naruto's voice cracked. I fought with everything. I used the Nentail's power. I tried, and it wasn't enough. People died because I wasn't enough. The dam broke. For the first time since waking, Naruto cried. Redemption's path. Tsunade spent months working with Naruto. Not on jutsu, but on himself. She shared her own story. Her losses, her failures, her struggle with being the granddaughter of the first Hokage, yet losing everyone she loved. She taught him that strength wasn't about never falling. It was about standing back up. My grandfather lost battles, she said one day. The 2nd Hokage died in battle. The 4th gave his life. Even the 3rd couldn't protect everyone. Being Hokage doesn't mean being invincible. It means caring enough to keep trying despite knowing you might fail. Slowly, painfully, Naruto began to heal. Not the physical wounds, which had closed months ago, but the deeper scars. He started eating ramen again. He managed small smiles. He began to remember why he wanted to become Hokage in the first place. When Sasuke prepared to leave the village, seeking power from Orochimaru, Naruto confronted him at the Valley of the End. But this Naruto was different. He didn't make impossible promises. He didn't claim he'd bring Sasuke back no matter what. Instead, he said, I lost to Gaara. I failed the village. I know what it feels like to not be strong enough. But running away doesn't make you stronger, it just makes you alone. Sasuke looked at his friend, seeing genuine understanding rather than naive optimism. Then why stay in a place that reminds you of your failure? Because I'm not running from it anymore, Naruto replied, taking his fighting stance. I'm learning from it, and I'll prove it by stopping you right here, right now. Their battle shook the valley. Naruto had grown tremendously, his training with Tsunade and Jiraiya, pushing him to new heights, but Sasuke had the curse mark's power. Neither held back. When the dust settled, both lay at the water's edge, exhausted. Naruto had managed what seemed impossible. He'd matched Sasuke, blow for blow. It ended in a draw, neither able to continue. You've gotten stronger, Sasuke admitted, breathing heavily. So have you, Naruto replied. But strength isn't everything. I learned that the hard way. Sasuke stood, preparing to leave, but he paused, looking back. Next time we meet, I'll be even stronger, and I'll be ready, Naruto said. Not because I'm afraid of losing, but because you're precious to me. That's worth fighting for. For a moment, something flickered in Sasuke's eyes. Then he was gone, heading toward Orochimaru and his own path of darkness. The new Naruto. Naruto returned to the village alone, but not defeated. He reported to Tsunade honestly he couldn't stop Sasuke, but he'd given everything he had. Did you learn anything? She asked. Naruto thought carefully. I learned that sometimes giving everything isn't enough to win, but that doesn't mean it wasn't worth doing. Tsunade smiled. It was the answer of a true shinobi. In the months that followed, Naruto's reputation slowly changed. People saw his dedication, his humility, his willingness to admit weakness and grow from it. The boy who'd failed against Gaara became the young man who refused to let failure define him. When he encountered Gaara again at the Chunin Exam finals that were rescheduled months later, the Sand Ninja looked different too. Less murderous, more contemplative. You changed me, Gaara said before their rematch. Even in defeat, you showed me something I'd never seen: someone who cared about others more than proving his existence. You changed me too, Naruto admitted. You taught me that I'm not invincible. and that's okay. Their second battle was legendary. Both had grown immensely, but this time, when Naruto's Rasengan clashed with Gaara's ultimate defense, it was Naruto who stood victorious. As Gaara lay in the arena, looking up at his opponent, he smiled a genuine expression that shocked everyone who knew him. "Thank you," he said, "for showing me what real strength looks like." Naruto extended his hand, helping his former enemy to his feet. We're both still learning. Epilogue years later, when Naruto finally achieved his dream of becoming Hokage, he kept a particular photograph in his office. It showed him in the hospital after the Gaara fight broken, defeated, but alive. Beneath it, he'd written a quote he'd once heard from Tsunade. "The greatest shinobi aren't those who never fall. They're the ones who stand back up every time they do." His loss to Gaara had nearly destroyed him, but it had also taught him the most important lesson of his life, that failure is the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the next chapter, and for Naruto Uzumaki, every chapter was worth fighting for.